Did you know that in 2021, 46% of students reported that they felt engaged at school? This figure was 53% in 2019 and 65% in 2018. It seems clear from these statistics that something needs to change if we hope to keep children engaged in learning. With the statistics showing the growing decline of engaged students in school, we may need to take stock of our learning environments, contexts, and styles to see how we could re-engage children in their learning. Perhaps we need to reassess our perspectives and pedagogies when it comes to learning and teaching. Are children no longer engaging because they think that school is boring? When I was working with small groups of learners, I often found that they engaged in their learning if they saw the learning as fun. Learning fractions, for example, was pretty boring and tedious, especially when it had no implications on their life at that time. However, if I brought in a bag of M&Ms or cookies and we had to divide those into different fraction equations, and then we got to eat them before the end of the lesson, they learned their fractions quite quickly. So we need to explore different ways to make learning fun and relevant to the children that we're teaching. There are several things that impact student engagement in the modern world. There is an increase in device use, both in and outside the classroom. Digital technology has many advantages in learning, but digital technology can also be the cause of lack of engagement. Stress, both financial and emotional, has been suggested as possible causes for lack of student engagement. Things like the cost of education, as well as the cost of living, are impacting student engagement. If we want to engage our students in their learning more, then we need to rethink and refocus our ideas of how learning can be done and what learning entails. Turn learning into games. I often found this with phonics lessons. I used movement games like Simon Says, or getting them to jump to the left for one sound we were learning and to the right for the other. One learning game that became one of my most requested was a game called Kaboom. It's a versatile game and it can be used for most learning topics. Using hands-on activities when teaching is a fantastic way to engage learners and help keep them interested in the learning. So if your learning is on following directions, get into the kitchen and do some baking, or get outside on the sports field and play some games. Find ways to engage learners using technology. Technology is not all bad, and it has its place in education. I taught myself to crochet over 12 years ago using Google and YouTube. Make the learning relevant to the student. If they can take the learning in class back to their home life and outside of school contexts, then they're more likely to engage in their learning. Teaching maths in a way that can help children learn things like budgeting or how to determine which product is better cost-wise are all fantastic ways to make learning meaningful. Learning is not something that only occurs in schools or educational contexts. Learning occurs in homes and in everyday settings. So making learning fun and relative to the students and their out-of-school contexts will help to engage students. Share some of the ways you make learning fun for your students so you don't miss out on more content about learning and motivation. Subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.